We're moving right along. We're now to the respiratory system. There it is, the respiratory system. And I think everyone knows what the respiratory system is. Your nose, nasal cavity, a common tube that's behind my nose and behind my mouth called the pharynx. In the front of my neck, I have the larynx. The pharynx leads to the larynx, and the larynx is what houses my voice box, right? My vocal cords. And it leads down through you can feel this other cartilage covered tube that's sort of on the front of my neck. It's called the trachea. And from there into the bronchi and into my lungs. And we had said, when we were talking about the circulatory system, we had said, I will die if I don't breathe. And so what happens is I breathe, I ventilate is the proper term for that. I exchange air from my lungs to the outside and then from the outside into my lungs. And this is allowing oxygen to enter into the blood in my circulatory system. And that oxygen is going to go and play a role in releasing the energy stored in molecules. Later on this semester, I will ask you, why do you breathe? And hopefully you'll remember this, and you'll say, because people usually just say, because I'll die. And I say, why will you die? And hopefully you'll say, because I need that oxygen to release the energy stored in biological molecules from the food I ate, right? That's why you breathe. That's the reason, cellular respiration. Something we'll talk about later on. And in the process of breaking that food down, you use the oxygen and you produce CO2. So you are breathing in oxygen and exhaling CO2. And the diaphragm is a muscle that lowers, that helps. We'll talk more about this when we get to the respiratory system. But you have muscles in your chest that help raise your thoracic cavity, and the diaphragm, which lowers it, which allows you to ventilate, to breathe. Another system, since we've only used a couple of minutes here, is this one right here. It is the urinary system. Again, when we talked about the circulatory system, we had said, what does it transport? It transports all kinds of stuff. Those nutrients, those blood gases, those immune system cells, those antibodies, all this stuff is being transported, including waste. The waste products from your body, they have to go somewhere. And where do they go? To your bladder. So to your kidneys, and it gets filtered out of the blood in your kidneys. So the first organ of the urinary system would be your kidneys. And then you have some tubes that lead from the kidney to this urinary bladder, which fills up, right? And those tubes that lead from the kidneys to the urinary bladder are called ureters. They fill up the bladder, and when the bladder is full, you get a signal to your brain saying, uh-oh, I got to find a restroom. And so you go into the restroom and you release the urine from your bladder through the urethra to the outside. So those are the structures, the major structures of the urinary system. And what is it about? It's about removal of metabolic waste. That's what the waste we're talking about. It's also involved in control of blood cell production. Now that's one you may not have known. So what happens is your kidneys are monitoring the blood cells that are present in your circulatory system, and when when they are low, they release a hormone which says start making more blood cells. And then there's one other function. So you have absorption of nutrients, of waste rather, absorption of waste into the urine, and then transport out of your body. But you also have secretion of stuff your body doesn't know what to do with. So maybe you've gotten a job sometime, and they say, before I can hire you, you have to pee in the cup, right? You have to pee. And why are you peeing in a cup? They're looking to see if you're abusing drugs, right? It's a drug test. And you say, well, why would there be drugs in my urine? It's because your body says, this is some foreign biochemical. I don't know what it is. Let's get rid of it. It secretes it in the urine. And then there's one other function. It has to do with maintaining acid and base balance. And it's a little bit hard to describe until we've gotten a little further into the semester. But let's just suffice to say excess acid is put into the urine. And that's why urine can be very acidic. Okay, enough for now. We have a few more systems.